Welcome to Inspired Living with Keri Murphy, the podcast, where as your host each and every week, I am going to inspire you and empower you to share your message and step into that big vision you see for yourself. I'll be bringing you celebrity interviews, influencer insights, and my personal tips from decades as an on-camera talent, TV host, media expert, and entrepreneur, so you can build a brilliant seven-figure brand. Because when you're inspired, you inspire others. So let's go. Do you struggle with charging what you're worth? Do you feel like in this crazy economy, you have to constantly discount your prices, and the thought of actually increasing them puts you into a complete tailspin? You think to yourself, people aren't buying more, but the fact is, and statistics show, that retail sales are higher than ever and people are spending more on essential products and services. So as an entrepreneur, it is so important to understand where you fit in that landscape. So I remember when I started out this business, which is my third business, one of my coaches said to me, make yourself uncomparable. And I say that to my clients all the time. People are going to price shop. People are going to compare. So make yourself uncomparable. What does that mean? That means we got to get out of charging time for dollars, right? Because if you charge an hourly rate, it's really easy for me to go look at someone else and say, well, wait a minute, they're charging more or they're charging less. But in a world full of apples, I'd like to say, make yourself a mango, right? Make it so I can't compare you and price shop you with other things. How do you do that? You look at bundling your services. You look at adding bonuses. You look at really charging what you're worth in a way that people can truly see the value. Now, in some of your businesses, you have to trade time for dollars, but I really encourage you to fight that model. If you're a personal trainer, right? Sell monthly packages, sell nutrition plans, instead of just trading an hour of PT, right, for an amount. Okay, this is where you get to really stand out and become that category of one by not worrying about what everyone else is doing and really looking at how you can set yourself apart and how you can market yourself differently. So that is my number one tip for you right now is stop trading time for dollars, make yourself uncomparable, and look at how you can put together packages, right? And even for IL Beauty, instead of just having you buy one product at a time, I created a kit, which is 8 products. You can't compare that when you go makeup shopping online, right? So look at ways and be creative with how you're packaging your products and services so people really see the value and are excited to work with you. Now, the truth of the matter is people are spending money. But people are spending money on essential products and services. That means that you have to fill a gap. You have to alleviate a pain point for me. And if it hurts bad enough, I don't care what it costs. I am going to pay for it, right? Think about if your tooth hurts, right? And you have this really bad toothache and you know, oh my gosh, I need to get to a dentist, right? Are you going to price shop every dentist and say, you know what? I don't know. This one charges $200 more. This one's $100 more. Or are you going to find the best dentist in your area that maybe specializes in the sort of care that you need, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get rid of that toothache, right? That's what I'm talking about, moving from generalist to specialist. Stop trying to be the go-to person for everyone and learn how to be that go-to person for the one. I'm going to pay more if I know that you are an expert in something. I'm going to pay more if you're a specialist helping people get a result around one thing instead of trying to get a result around so many things. Does that make sense? So again, look at how you can position yourself differently in the marketplace. And I go back to kind of the personal trainer, right? The fitness expert. Instead of just being a fitness expert, be someone who specializes in intermittent fasting, or be someone who specializes in menopause and, middle age and beyond women. Like, really get clear on how you can help someone. And remember this, people will invest in possibility, but they will pay quicker to alleviate a pain. All right, people invest in possibility, people invest in their businesses, but they will pay quicker to alleviate a pain. So I want you to think about, how do you offer something that quickly remedies one of my toothaches? Okay. Now, I also want you to think about, are you charging what you're worth? And it's difficult to really think about that because so many of us don't feel our worth. Maybe we suffer with that imposter syndrome. We think, who am I to be doing this? And I think one way to really alleviate that is to invest in yourself. I look back at all my businesses and I think about where I started and where I am now. In fact, I giggle because the other day I was going through my office pulling out sheets from like 2012 of products that I offered and pricing, and I just giggled. The brand was a mess. The pricing was a lot lower than we have right now. But what really allows you to keep increasing your pricing? Increasing the investment in you. I am constantly investing in myself, coaches, team, personal development. And I feel like for every dollar I put into me is another dollar I can increase on our pricing sheet, right? So things that I offer now and the price point I offer now is not what I offered when I started out. So I really encourage you to take a good look inward and ask yourself, when's the last time you invested in you? Because you can't ask people to invest in you when you're not willing to make that investment in yourself. A great example for that is if you have a program and you want to charge, let's say, $5,000 for the program, and you're out of congruency because you've never invested $5,000 in yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there's a gap there. So how are you going to stand in confidence saying, I'm worth $5,000 when you've never invested that in yourself? So for me, every time I invest more in myself, my confidence goes up, my skill set goes up, my net worth goes up, right? And that gets reflected in my brand and in our prices, right? So if you're wishing you worked with me earlier, trust me, it's better now. It might be more expensive, but it's better now. And then the last tip I want to give you is to really know your brand and know your ideal client. Look, you need to know your shopper. You need to know where they're going, right? I always use the example of Nordstrom's and Macy's. When I grew up, Nordstrom's was a place to go. In fact, I remember going there for the back to school sale, right? Because Nordstrom never put anything on sale. So my mom would take the three of us to Nordstrom and we would have a little budget and she would say, okay, go get your school clothes. And oh my God, I loved it. I was so happy. And I remember that anniversary sale. I would look forward to it every year because it only happened once a year. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about Macy's, right? Macy's has a sale every 20 minutes, right? And they've conditioned their consumer to know that they are going to have a coupon, right? That there's going to be some sort of sale. So as a savvy consumer, if I go into Macy's and something is not on sale, what do? Well, I ask the person for the coupon. I'm like, when is it going on sale? Because they've conditioned their buyer to purchase things at a discount. Does that make sense? So Nordstrom conditioned their buyer to honor the value and the experience of that store, right? Macy's has a different value proposition. They say, we are going to give you things with great value and it's going to be on sale. So very different psychographic and demographic of their ideal client. It's really important for you to understand this when it comes to putting a sticker price on something. It drives me bananas when people just throw a sticker on something because they see someone else doing it. Oh, well, everyone else is charging $197, so I'm going to charge $197. Like, know your client, know your value, know your brand proposition, and then you can figure out pricing. So, my friend, I want to tell you this, that you are incredibly worthy of increasing your prices, of charging what you're worth. But it's such a bigger picture than just guessing what people are going to pay. And the more you discount, sometimes the less value people perceive you bringing to them. So depending on your client, depending on the service, this is the time, before we get into the new year, for you to step back and say, am I charging what I'm worth? Am I alleviating an essential pain? Am I helping people step into possibility? And what sort of brand am I showing up as? The Nordstroms or the Macy's? All right, if you loved this, I'm going to invite you to my Facebook group called Ignite Your It Factor, where I share tips like this and so many other free resources. So come join me. It's an incredible community. Just go to Facebook and type in Ignite Your It Factor and come join this amazing group of passionate, soulful entrepreneurs who want to increase the value in the world as well as their bank account. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you feel like you're charging what you're worth? Please post a comment below. And if you are inspired, please take a minute and share this with someone else, because I tell you what, when you are inspired, you inspire others, and we all need to raise the vibration in the world right now and step into the value that we bring. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember to keep dreaming it, living it, and being it. Until next time.
You've just heard another uplifting episode of Inspired Living with Keri Murphy, the podcast. I hope you loved it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And if you'd like to know more about Inspired Living or to get your hands on many of our awesome free resources, such as the Be Studio Ready Guide, simply visit us at inspiredliving.tv/podcast. Remember, your vision is your destiny, and we're here to help you bring it to life. Join me again next week for another extraordinary episode.